coronavirus crisis to a flattening of the curve, there
You might
remains
notice
the
in that
heartbreaking
video
fact.
that after the smoke flies
Nearly
up from the
6,500
gunshots, he leaves the
New
room
York
before
nursing home
returning to
residents
take a
have
second
died
look at her.
under Governor Andrew Cuomo's
This
direction.
wasn't just to
In
take
the
a
next
second.
episode of One American News Investigates, we hear the stories of unnecessary loss, point to where the governor's fingerprints cannot be ignored. Join me, Caitlin Sinclair, this Saturday and Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, only on One American News.
Well, good morning. There was an interruption there in a minute, but I fixed it real quick. Good morning to all my fellow Americans. Here once again to inform you what's happening. There's a lot of news going on, a lot of news. I don't even know where to start off from. I want to send a salute to all my fellow Americans, especially those of the veterans of the DAV, which I am a member of, Chapter 11, and to all veterans of all organizations. And never forget those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in order to keep our country free. And the state of Florida, don't forget to vote for Maria Elvira Salazar for Congress. She'll put a stop to these extreme socialist, Islamic terrorists who want to take over the country. And Donald Trump, let's do like we did in Venezuela. Let's freeze the accounts of the communists and pass it on to the hands of a person who loves his country in Cuba, which is Jose Daniel Ferrer Garcia, the leader of UNPACO. Let's do the same thing. We can do it. Cuba has been under communism and the nightmare of communism for over 61 years. So it's about time we fix it up by doing the same thing we've done in Venezuela. Let me go with the next video, see what's happening. At least now we know there's something being done against Cuomo. You know the ironic thing about all this is the irony about it is that they call Donald Trump a mass murderer, but the one who has committed murder, mass murder, has been Cuomo. No, de Blasio, excuse me. And Cuomo, all these senior citizens who have died of COVID. But then they put the blame on Trump. Trump is the mass murderer. And if it had to do with COVID, you should blame the Chinese. It came from Wuhan, China. Remember that? A biological warfare type of armament that they to use to kill, mass murder people. But no, it's Trump's fault. Everything that's happening, where people are being dying of these COVID disease, it's Trump's fault. It's something terrible. The destruction of these cities, the burning down, the murder of cops, the intent murder of cops, it's Trump's fault. Like he was the one who pulled the trigger against those two cops in Compton. You know, it's just terrible. These people are just criminals. They're the ones that should be in prison. And you know, we want to put a stop to everything that's happening. The ones that have to be put in prison is, you know, it's not only these criminals that are burning down and murdering people. It's also the Democrat Party, the whole DNC. Okay, let me go to the next video here. I want to try to be real short because the time runs real quick. Okay, let me go to this one about the Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft on the mail-in ballot in tobacco. Let me go with this one here. Yeah, this one's
Joining me
really
now from
short.
Jefferson City, Missouri. Join me now from Jefferson City, Missouri. Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Thanks so much for joining
Okay,
me.
here we go.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
What are your thoughts on the mandatory mail-in ballots? Is this a good thing for our country right before the election?
No, it's not a good thing. The best way for people to vote safely and know that their vote will count is to vote in person. Every year that we have mail-in balloting in any state you look at across this country, there's always 2, maybe 3% of those ballots that don't count. If we're encouraging people to do mail-in balloting much.
So in Missouri, they're asking for the mail-in ballots to be notarized for the vote to count. Is this a big controversy right now? Are people upset about that? Or is this something that regular, everyday folks
Well,
will have access
I'm
to?
going to stop it right here because you already explained the best way to avoid this is go vote personally. That way you're registered, written down, and make sure your vote counts. So I don't think there's a, he already explained it. I don't think it need any more explanation. By the way, that one was from Next News Network. Okay, let's see this here one. 100 days of unrest with Emma. Let me see about this one is about the unrest in Portland. Okay, I'm
For more
gonna
on
put a
this
little
issue,
part
I
of
want
it.
to bring on Emma Michel, who serves as a spokesperson for the organization Young Americans for Liberty. So Emma, I'm really glad to have you on the program tonight because just recently we passed 100 days of violence in the city of Portland. Looking at what we're seeing right now, the evidence that is put in front of us in the situation in Portland, do you think that there's any end in sight?
It doesn't feel like it because the police have been continually refusing to address this in the way that it should be addressed. And there's actually a new poll that just came out this week where Portlanders were actually asked their thoughts about this in the broader range of issues that are facing Oregon. And 66% of people saw these protests as the #1 issue that needed to be addressed by state and local government, even higher than COVID-19. And these are folks that tend to be extremely liberal. If you look at the electoral data, Portland is a very left-leaning place, and it has been for a long time. And what that tells you is that people see this as a non-political issue now. It's an issue of safety, of looking out for their families, and frankly, looking out for businesses and job opportunities. Because businesses are not going to want to stick around if this continues. So this is something that's very dear to my heart. I grew up here in Portland. This is my hometown. I'm here right now visiting family, and it's horrible to see this city be destroyed by people who seem to not actually care about finding real solutions or pushing for criminal justice reform. They just want to see the city burn.
And even before the George Floyd protests, I think it's worth noting that there were acts of violence occurring in Portland from Antifa long before. In fact,
Let me stop right here. That's all they want to do. They want to see the city burned down with the support and finance of the Democrats, including George Soros. They're the ones who should be put in prison. They're the ones who are permitting them. They should be arrested and thrown in prison. But you know what? This is the ironic thing about it is people vote for them. You have to be more intelligent in voting. Don't vote for Democrats. You stop voting for Democrats, and this is going to stop. You keep voting for them, forget about it. Then you deserve what you get. Sometimes I'm glad Trump doesn't intervene and lets it burn down because, hey, that's what you choose, that's what you get. Hey, what you want, you got to be, like they say, you better be careful what you wish for. Okay, let me see if I can go to another one. Okay, I'm going to go to this last one, and with this one I'm over. Donald Trump, I always pray for you and your family. God bless you. God protect you. The same with Mike Pence, and this and with our police. My heart goes out to the police force. Sometimes I forget to mention them, but I should start mentioning the police and the firefighters and the medic teams. These emergency medic teams, they also should be mentioned because they're doing a tremendous job. Especially the police, who's there to protect them. But it's what's happening is terrible. Anyway, what can we do? Just pray. We've got to pray to God and hope that with a second term of Donald Trump, this can be finished once and for all. And another thing, I stand with God and Israel eternally, and God bless our country eternally. So I'll see you guys soon. And like I said, I'll leave you with this last video with Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld from the 5. Here we go. Just gonna put a little piece because it's pretty long.
The 2 LA deputies shot in the head are expected to survive. One is a 31-year-old mother of a young child, the other a 24-year-old man. The officers had been sitting in their car in Compton Saturday night when a man or something attempted to assassinate them. The scum is still on the loose. If this were any other type of victim, not police, this would be the time that the media would talk about climate. We've created a climate of hate and intolerance where horrible attacks against this group are possible. It's a climate where certain people are hunted because of who they are. It's a climate that fosters oppression. But the victims are police, so you don't hear that, even if it's true. Instead, you get an embarrassment of crickets from the media and, of course, those protesters at the hospital cheering the victims. Class acts all. And, of course, Biden calling for gun control. But after his campaign championed paying bail of a would-be cop killer and other violent scum, maybe he should sit this one out. What I'd like to hear, Democrats bravely saying, hey, you know what? Demonizing cops leads nowhere good. Or anchors bravely saying, this is what happens when you redefine violence as protests. First you point a laser, then you throw a Molotov, and then you kill. Maybe it's time to end this. I'd like to hear someone point out that the denial of rampant violence and the complicit silence of leaders as the chaos spread made this possible. Maybe demonization is demonic. We don't like to hear that, but this happened to cops, so never mind. How about the NFL? That was some game. Did you kneel?
Okay, let me stop it right here.
When I first saw on Twitter, it was from the police, the LA County
I was
Sheriff's.
gonna stop it right here and
About
finish.
the protest.
But I gotta give my opinion here. Donald Trump the other day mentioned that these people should be caught and executed. It's about time. In another country, you do less than this and you're executed. What this guy did, that sneaked on the side of the police car and shot the lady with the 6-year-old son and the other cop, not with the 6-year-old in the car, but the lady has a 6-year-old son. You know, I agree with Trump 100%. God bless you, Donald Trump. If it's that way, I'm with you 100%. We should reinstate the death penalty, and these people, they should pay with their lives. The destruction, the burning down the cities, well, should pay with their lives. In other countries, they don't even permit that. They don't even get to that extent. Just the intention of trying to burn down a city or commit a crime, you know, they'll execute a person. But these people are doing it. You know, our system is the best system, the Democrat system. But unfortunately, it's weak because we can't do anything because then we're attacked. Us conservatives are attacked for backing up our president and his desire to impose the death penalty, which I applaud. It should be reinstated. So, like I was saying before, God bless you all, and I'm gonna leave with this last opinion I had. I had to make it. I might be banned from YouTube, like they always do, just because of my opinion. But you know, I'm not the one who's gonna impose the death penalty, but I back the president for saying it. So you know, whatever you want to do. But I'm still supporting my president, Donald Trump. Donald Trump for 2020. So God bless you all, and bye-bye.